Of course, when we're talking about great German Riesling, it would be a mistake to not include one of my favorite brands in the Rheingau. We're talking about Robert Weil. And today we've got Nicolas Lager. I pronounce that correct, Nicolas?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right. And Nicolas is the export manager for this fantastic brand. And Nicolas, great to see you.
Pleasure. Pleasure, Ian. Thanks for having us and having our wine today. It's a great pleasure to tell your customers and everyone here today more about Robert Weil and about the lovely Spätlese that you selected.
We're going to go into our slideshow and take a look. There's the winemaker and last name Weil. He's a fourth generation.
Correct, yes. And actually the first in his family to learn winemaking. So he really learned it from scratch. And he has been at the helm of the estate for 35 years. So he knows what he's doing. And definitely, of course, he grew up here at the estate. So he knows really every little piece of it, every little stone, I would say.
Well, it is an estate. I mean, you hear the word estate bantered around with a lot of wineries. There's a lot of history to get to here. So, Nicolas, thank you for joining us. And how long have you been with the estate?
I've been with the estate now for 9 years. I started in 2014 in February, and ever since I've been here because I love Riesling, and so I really for me it was the best grape variety on earth, best white grape variety for sure. And I think there's no better place for Riesling than Rheingau. So I'm a big lover of Riesling in general, and then of course when the chance came to work for Robert Weil, it was an easy opportunity that I couldn't miss.
Amazing. And you went to Geisenheim.
Correct, yes. Lovely 4 years from 2010 in October to, yeah, to 2014 until I started at Robert Weil. So I graduated and picked up the job here in afterwards.
We're going to show a little video now, and then we'll talk with Nicolas about the estate.
4 generations at Weingut Robert Weil have shared a common mission: Rieslings to remember. The journey from grape to bottle begins in the soils of our hillside vineyards, the Griefenberg, Dornberg, and Klosterberg. Our winery faces out onto them. This place is ripe with history and tradition, a true chateau. Come autumn, we harvest each perfectly ripe Riesling grape by hand. Our focus is then on gentle pressing and judicious aging. We preserve our region's distinctive wine culture for future generations, and we believe strongly in encouraging a healthy mix of flora and fauna. For over 100 years now, Weil wines have graced the finest tables. Our name is synonymous with timelessness and elegance. Our wines usher in joy and delight across the generations. We are well aware of our responsibility for the culture of German Riesling. We take our role as host and ambassador seriously. Our wines bring people together. They are the crucible for unforgettable moments, not only here in the Rheingau, but the whole world over.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I've seen it probably a million times because I always like to show that video, share it with people, but I'm always amazed because it always reminds me how beautiful our estate is and how blessed we are that we can work in such a wonderful surrounding.
Amazing, amazing. And we are in the Rheingau, which is, as you can see on the map, we've got Frankfurt nearby, Mainz, Nahe, the Mosel, but the Rheingau is a special spot, a historic spot. This winery has been there since the 1800s.
Correct, late 1800s, so 1875. Our
So
founder.
You're the new guy.
Exactly, we're a young kid. We're a young kid in Rheingau, 1875. God, you came yesterday, technically, because I mean you have all these old established chateaus, all the schloss and the monasteries and everything. So 1875 really means, yeah, you're the young kid around the block. I mean, for us, we have been working here now for 140 years, and our founder did something very cool. He purchased really the very finest vineyards when he came here. I mean, he had nothing to do, as you can read, with viticulture in the original place. He was an intellectual. He was a professor for German at the University of Sorbonne in Paris. And just, I mean, the lucky coincidence in that way, it's strange to say it, is really the war between France and Germany meant that Paris was obviously not an ideal place for a German guy teaching German.
Where do you guys rank as far as size? Are you large, small?
I think we are definitely a larger player by German standards, but definitely we are bigger than others. The aspect behind that is as well. And here, you see what we are focusing on our little universe. You have the estate really in the center, directly next to the church. You have the estate, Robert Weil estate.
About today, the Hill of Counts.
Correct.
Grafenberg, is that correct? Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah, Grafenberg. Grafenberg is as you can see, it was first mentioned in the 12th century. We focus on one of the few places within Rheingau where there is slate, and this is a gray bluish type of slate called Philippe. And today it's about the Grafenberg Spätlese. In Grafenberg we're making several wines. Today it's the Spätlese, the traditional late harvest, which is a true classic, a very elegant, fruit-driven wine. Really what you think of when you hear Spätlese, when you hear late harvest. This is a wine where we do not exaggerate ripeness. We are also making an Auslese, a Beerenauslese and Trockenbeerenauslese. We right now have 34 consecutive vintages of all these predicates being produced at Robert Weil estate, and in particular in the Grafenberg, because we will really go in step by step. We are not selecting plot by plot. We are really doing our selection on the vine. And for the Grafenberg Spätlese, we are going really in only selecting full ripe berries, no botrytis berries for the Spätlese. The botrytis is really reserved for Beerenauslese and Trockenbeerenauslese, and the Spätlese is really focusing on very healthy, very ripe berries, really more golden. We are also making a GG, a großes Gewächs, out of that vineyard. And the GG and the Spätlese is a little bit like brother and sister, but the Spätlese is always a little bit riper. The berries are a little bit more golden, but very full ripe. And this is where the aroma comes from. This is a big advantage of a hillside vineyard like the Grafenberg, because the ripening process is that slow, that simply.
So this is a second harvest for Spätlese. And you said how many harvests do you do?
Up to 17.
There you go. 17. So every time you go into the vineyard, you're looking for something specific, like it's almost like watching a child.
I think Spätlese is a wine that very often we drink way too young. I think the best Spätleses are the ones that you drink after 20 years.
Fantastic. Well, when you're making Spätlese, you told me before we did the show that you're doing this in stainless steel, but you're putting the GG wines, the drier wines, potentially in the wood, right?
Correct, yes.
Now, this is a beautiful vineyard. This is the vineyard that we're tasting, right?
Correct, but I think I have an even better thing, because I can show you what that vineyard looks like.
Yeah.
So, do you see a window, Ian?
Look at that. The view from your office is amazing.
Yeah. So we did a new cellar building 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, and we had a terrace to spare, and the terrace actually gives you the perfect view into Grafenberg. As you can see, here it's a wonderful day in Germany. It's and I have a little fly in the camera. And the vineyard that you see directly in front of you, that I'm facing out to here directly from the estate, is our Grafenberg vineyard. This is really where these grapes grew, that you're tasting and that you're having in the glass. So that's really our vineyard here. And what you can see is when I go a little bit more up to that direction.
Well, here's the wine that we're tasting, and I've just got to tell you that you know, again, I carry many different Weil wines, and this is a particularly you know, a particular champion. If you guys are putting your name on it, it's a great wine at the price point. Now at $100 a bottle for a bottle of Riesling, it better be fantastic, and it is, as we're going to taste now. We really thank you for making time with us and being able to share that view, your exposure, and I can't wait to go back and visit the Rheingau and see your property again. It was great to run into you here in Los Angeles, and thanks for supporting our program.
My pleasure, Ian. Really a pleasure. Thanks for having our wine and for having me presenting it today. And I hope to see you soon, either in LA or, of course, anytime here in the Rheingau.